Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Pecino Report podcast, season 2020, episode 27, which funnily enough is the same amount of marriages that Manuel has had.
Sorry. I thought that you would say that's Casey's
Stoner episode, yeah.
No, that wasn't as exciting.
You attacked me.
So we had Le Mans on the, I nearly said Le Mans, Le Mans on the weekend. We had some spectacular moments. We had highs, we had lows, ups, downs, and some early finishes for some, which, Stu, I'm sorry, I'm sure that's like your wedding night.
Yeah. Pretty much every night afterwards as well.
Right. We had Rossi out early because he obviously wanted to go and hang out with his 25-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah,
Suzuki put on a right. I'm sure he's sick of putting up with her crap though. We had Suzuki put on a show. We had Mia gave us the dismount of the year. The 2016 Olympic team would be very proud of that. That was an incredible landing. We had Alex Rins. He had that amazing pace, had us on the edge of our seat, and then he fell off.
He fell off the edge of his seat.
He fell off the edge of his seat. We had Jack Miller, who I thought was lining up for the championship, and I was getting a bit emotional. Then his bike died. We had Alex Marquez, his first wet weather race on a MotoGP bike. He rode better than Iker and Brad Binder, and I'm wondering now if he's making his way up to become Mr and Mrs Marquez's favourite son.
Ooh. I did see his dad was very emotional.
Maybe he's getting up there. Yeah. We had Quartararo and Maverick. Who were they?
Yeah.
And we had Danilo Petrucci for the win. So the wet weather was a great equaliser. No one could predict it, even me with my limited knowledge or experts, whatever. Although Manuel did call it that this GP was going to be the survival GP, and he was definitely spot on with that.
Yeah, well done, Mr. GP.
He was on it again.
So I am writing down something you said that is very interesting. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we had 15 out of the 23 riders have now been on the podium for MotoGP.
Are you serious?
Yep. That's what the commentators told me. So who knows what's going to happen? But I know we're going to talk about Moto2 because we almost had the Pecino Report podium with Sam Lowe.
So close.
Remy Gardner, who we've spoken to both those guys recently, and I hope we'll talk about Jake Dixon. He showed that he's got the biggest heart on track, and I actually shed a tear when that all happened. So do we have enough time to talk about this? I don't know. Oh, my God. Stu, what was your highlight from the weekend?
Oh, my God. Honestly, I think my highlight was actually Jake Dixon. Seriously. I loved seeing him lead a race right up until the point where he crashed. He was riding so maturely. It was really good to see. It was like the coming of a new talent. It was, and I
think I messaged him like, "What would you be thinking?" And you're like, "Don't fall off, don't fall off, don't fall off."
Exactly, that's what he was doing for sure. But yeah, you're right, Andrew. What an incredible weekend! Just when we thought 2020 couldn't give any more craziness, yeah, there you go. Have another one.
Have another one. So Manuel,
yes,
our master, our father,
yes.
Our
but
God
did you realize that Jake, that Petrucci, that Alex Marquez, they grabbed on the opportunity that appeared for them? That was interesting, you know. Yep. The situation suddenly put in front of an opportunity, and they just grabbed it with the two hands. The shame is that Jake didn't finish the job, but he showed up. You know, that's very interesting. And we here have a little bit some favoritism to Jack, to Remy, you know, the people who have been here with us.
The Pecino boys. Call them the Pecino boys.
Exactly. That's good.
Absolutely.
When we have the money, we will put a patch on their leathers.
I think so. Boys. Can you imagine me with a beer or something?
That's the patch. Still one of these.
Can we quickly, that's right. Lucky we didn't record that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Moto2 first? Oh, we can, because I'm in charge tonight.
Yeah. Right. For those that haven't noticed, Andrew's
you are the boss.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I'll apologise now to everyone. I'm very sorry. Who was the? I don't know. First, I've got to ask about Aaron Canet because I was fascinated. Did he lose his little finger, or has he still got his little finger?
It looked like he lost it. I haven't heard any otherwise. Have you heard anything, Manuel?
No, I even didn't know the story about his finger.
It was Manuel. Did you watch Moto2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, that wasn't in the race anyway. It was before.
It was in
Yeah,
quality.
but Andrea, losing the little finger is not very rare.
You don't need it.
No, but with these guys, most of them at the end of their career, not most, but many of them finish without this finger. In fact, to avoid this, they have built gloves that these two fingers are together.
Mittens.
You know. So because normally this finger just goes this way and they just lose the finger. But now their gloves, they put the small finger and the other one just together.
Right.
Okay.
Provides an extra strength.
He lifted his hand up and there was dangly glove and gap, and then he sort of looked at it and went, and I was like, oh my god.
And
okay, well that was boring.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was exciting, but that obviously happens all the time.
Hang on. Wait a minute. Just wait.
Ta-da!
Ta-da-da!
There it is.
Look,
okay. So the
the magic glove.
two little fingers.
Yeah, each finger has his finger, but they are together. You know?
I thought it was going to be two fingers in the one hole.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, like a Vulcan.
Like a shocker.
All right.
We call that a barracuda in Australia, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. No, that's really interesting.
Yes, and look, cool. These gloves are so hard, you know. Here, protection here,
yep.
And here as well. They are very, very tight. You can fix them here to really, because the normal thing is to lose the gloves when you fall.
Yeah.
Because the body, when there is a big impact, the body really gets like, how do you say it? Gets
like sucks
tense
in fright.
No, it's smaller.
Yep.
You lose. In fact, when you have a car accident or when you have seen car accidents, the what you find are the shoes, because all the body gets small and the shoes get
protect it and everything falls off.
Wow.
And I tell you something that is not very nice, but that explains what I am telling you. I was there when Daijiro Kato got killed in Suzuka.
Wow. Okay.
And he hit the wall full gas because the gas got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his boots.
Jesus.
Both of them.
Whoa.
Just from the impact.
That's why I know what happens. That's why I tell you that the body, it's like, you know, it's, I don't know the English word, but it gets small when you impact.
Yep. Makes sense.
We understand that.
Like a protection type thing.
Yeah, something like this. Okay, let's go on.
So yeah,
okay.
Le Mans, Moto2.
Le Mans,
yes.
Moto2. Sam
Remy
Lowe's.
Gardner.
Oh, Remy Gardner. Let's talk about both of them. Oh my god.
I was going closer to home first.
Yeah, sure. Remy Gardner, what a ride! What a fantastic ride. So, same as he's done a lot of times though. He starts well, and then he falls back a little bit. When the bikes are full of fuel, the smaller, lighter guys are a lot more agile and they can get past him. And then for the last 5 or 6 laps, he really comes on strong when the bike's a lot lighter and he can really manhandle that thing around. And I think I was saying,
to see what he does on the new bike.
I know. And I think I was saying to you on the weekend, Andrew, I said, he will get second. With about 10 laps to go, I was like, he will come through. He will get second, definitely.
He raced very mature. You know, he was very mature. He is learning, or he has learned, I don't know in which phase he is, to analyze and to manage, you know, because normally the old Remy, he would attack desperately. But this time, he waited his opportunity. That was brilliant.
I feel like he's changed the way he rides since he's now knows that the bike he's going to be on next year, where it was up in the air for so long. I feel like he sort of chilled a little bit because he knows it's all okay. He doesn't have to prove himself to get that ride. He can just...
Yeah, but this is called experience, Andrew. You know, experience show you at the beginning you are like straw fire. You know, you go and then you go. Okay, now it's time to go down. It's time to stay. That's it. Down to experience.
Exactly.
Yep. And I guess again, speaking of maturity, Sam Lowe's, who we spoke to not long ago, in his wise old age of 30 years old. Again, we spoke, I think you mentioned to him through our interview that you were really impressed. You could see the way that he's thinking differently and riding a lot smoother. And
absolutely.
First win since 2016 for him. That was
I couldn't believe
a long time coming. And very exciting to see.
And you see that he has built up this step by step. And after speaking with him, you understand much more what you are watching at, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you understand very well. So the key is to have information, and what I always try to explain, to read what is happening instead of just to sit there and watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can start to see that now just from our lounge. You can, it's not just guys on a bike anymore. You can, all of that sort of making sense.
Exactly.
Is there anyone else we should mention for Moto 2? Jake.
Jake, of course.
We have to talk about Jake. What a ride. Like, seriously, he rode so well. He was so mature right up until the moment he fell off the bike. But no, it was a very, very mature ride by him. And I think I was saying to you guys before we hit record as well, it seemed like a coming of age for me. So I know Jake's a friend of the show, so you're probably watching. So Jake, from us, great ride, mate.
Amazing.
Absolutely fantastic.
But okay, we like him. Andrea, you love him, and so on. But he did a mistake.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
of course.
Yep.
And it's
a
another
mistake
learning opportunity for him.
That Remy didn't do. That Sam didn't do. Okay, very nice, very nice. But Jake,
some other big top riders in MotoGP did similar, didn't they?
Yeah, but
did, yeah.
Look, I tell you something. This is very, very important. When you crash, when a rider crashes, the first thing he has to admit is his mistake. Mm-hmm. And then, but he has to say it, look, in my opinion, you have to say it loud. For example, Alex Rins comes out after the race and explains, well, I don't know what happened. The first thing a rider has to say loud is, I did a mistake.
I made a mistake. I learned from it.
I made a mistake. And then
take the responsibility, yeah.
Because when you assume that you did a mistake, it's your fault. Because if not, you are starting to push the fault to the others, and you will never get out of that. Because no, it's not mine. Like Viñales does this constantly. It's the tire problem. Maverick, the problem is you. Yeah. And then you can have problems with the tire. But the thing is, if you say, I am the problem, you start to solve the problem from, you don't wait others to do it. Exactly. This is so important in racing. So important.
So I think with Jake, he proved what he's got. And when it comes, it's going to be just,
No, I think that for Jake, and he has been growing in the previous races, he has been coming.
Oh, you've seen him, yeah.
So this is, I think we will see in the race, it should have provoked a click in his attitude. Yeah. Self-confidence, So this must be, from now on, he's in another level, and he has to keep pushing at that level.
Yeah, I think so. I think for Moto 2, for me, I'm seeing Luca Marini struggling realistically. So is he really going to be a factor for the rest of the year? Or is Sam Lowe's positioned better to push forwards from here, do you think?
I think they are the two contenders. Did you see the fly of Marini during the practice session?
Yeah.
Wow. Any normal human being would run away from the track, but he was there. So imagine the pain and how.
I was surprised he was like, "Nah, I'm going back out there."
Yeah. So we will see. And the problem is that having so many races in a row, did it really have had enough time to recover? Because this weekend we have another race, and the next weekend we have another race. Not to get hurt is absolutely vital now. Absolutely vital.
Completely.
So I know we've got a million other people to talk about in MotoGP, but I do want to just ask, can you tell me what happened to Anaya? Because he's been a big standout for me. I think I called it the first race he won, and he's been a standout, but I don't know.
I have never believed in Anaya. His line, he's constantly up and down, Okay. He's a good rider, but he's so inconsistent. For me, it's absolutely not surprise. Absolutely. It's just performing normally like he has done all his years.
Okay, let's move on to MotoGP. We'll talk about the big boys.
Cool.
Oh, yes. Look, I think that you were surprised about the result, right? The two riders that were basically disappeared.
Yeah.
got the highlights and the spotlights in France.
It's the invisible podium.
Exactly, the invisibles.
Yep.
Look, I have a theory. I don't know if it's right or not, but I explain it to you and you tell me if it makes sense or not. Okay.
You talking to me?
Yes, because Andra, you said that the rain or Le Mans equalized the situation in MotoGP. That's what you say in the intro. I would say more than equalized, the rain or the wet neutralized some advantages. And I explain you. In the rain, basically the riding in the rain is you have to stop the bike as straight as possible, brake, because when you stop the bike straight, you have a bigger contact patch between the tire and the ground, right? Because you are straight, you put a lot of effort on the brake, so a bigger contact patch. With the rain, from the braking to the acceleration, this has to be as short as possible, because in the rain you cannot lean, because there is a lot of danger to crash. So you have to get through this as quick as possible, right? Andra, look, just, it's very, I think it's very logical. You arrive and then you just turn, and once you have the bike straight again, you open the gas, right? Yep. So, and the new Michelin rear tire, the new that many have complained about, which is their strong point? The corner speed. And the
edge grip.
The grip on a high lean angle, which does not occur in the rain.
Yeah.
Which bikes had the most problem with this tire? Ducati and Honda. Right? So Yamaha and Suzuki lost their advantage, because their advantage is the corner speed.
Yep.
Right? Another very important thing, we know that Yamaha is very slow. Not slow. The Yamaha has the weakest
relatively
engine.
Speaking, yeah.
Yeah, had the weakest engine. How does the Yamaha catch up this gap? Getting more corner speed and neutralizing the acceleration with corner speed exiting the corner.
Yep.
You understand? Do you follow me, Stu?
Yep.
So at this point, Yamaha was completely lost, because they couldn't have the speed through the corner that gave them the acceleration. So all them were bang, Morbidelli, Quartararo. They started well, but were losing ground because they could not take profit of their arms, their strong points.
Yeah, we saw Quartararo going backwards. He was just getting swamped right from the beginning.
So tell me, let's start with him, right? So I was a bit surprised when he didn't go out in FP1 because it was raining. And I was like, oh, okay, they're not predicting rain for the race. He's just, he's being sensible.
You were very vocal about that on WhatsApp, Andrew, yes.
come race day, it's raining. Oh, boo-hoo, he didn't go out in the wet track.
Look, this is interesting, Andrea. Very, very good scene. Because, for example, Fabio Quartararo didn't go to the Portimao test that was before the race. The riders went to Portimao to view the circuit, and Quartararo didn't go. And he explained that at this point of the championship, he didn't want to risk a crash in a non-necessary circumstance.
I think that test was very necessary.
But, and what Andrea said, look, if you are a rider, and you hear somebody saying, the championship leader, and you hear him say, I don't want to take unnecessary risk.
Manuel, you have taught me this, that I'm trying my best to take off my mother hat, but they need to take risks and they've got to be badass. And I want my heroes and the champions to take risks.
But Andrea, listen to me. If you are a rider and you hear this, what is your thinking? In the race, I'm going to throw my bike inside he's saying he doesn't want to take risk.
Yeah, but that's it, he's not.
So he's
telling
the others, push me because I'm not entering in the combat.
Yeah.
He's already lost any challenge, so every rider then feels empowered to just
the others,
take him on. Yeah,
you know, he's inviting the others to push him in the race. So when the race started, I kept an eye. I said, let's see how Quartararo is competing. And I have to say that my theory was completely wrong, because he really fought for each position he lost. You know, it was not like, okay, I let you pass because I don't want to problem. But he did not. And this was important. I really focused on this. And you could see in the last, in the last lap, when it came down to this special race between Viñales, Quartararo, and Mir, that were
Mir
the
got
three.
Past him, but he fought back, didn't he? That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
But Stu, they were the three in the leading the championship.
Yep.
So it was so important mentally.
Yep.
So when Mir came and passed Quartararo said, no. Attitude, you know? There was an attitude. Yep. And he finished the race, finished 9th, and improved the gap in the championship.
That's right. Finished in front
because
of the people that are
this
nearest to him.
little battle back. So it's very, this shows that Quartararo is very determined and shows that he has a winning and a champion mentality.
Good.
But why not go out on the wet track I don't understand why he wouldn't have gone out.
Because he thought it wouldn't rain. The prediction said, and he didn't want to take risk. The same thing he did, why he didn't go to Portimao. But at the end, what I said, I thought that he would be scared by entering in a fight with other riders, but no, absolutely
didn't seem to.
Maybe he's taking advice from his team as well. So, because I mean, we have to understand that the team is a lot bigger than just the rider, and so maybe his crew chief or the rest, someone else in his team manager, is advising him to do these things or not do these things as well.
Yes, one point, and another podcast, we can talk about the people who surround the rider. You know, this is incredible because there are so many people who speak in the ear of the rider. So many, you know, his manager, his crew chief, his friend, his girlfriend, his father, his mother, and he has to hear all of them, and all of them seems probably think they have the truth, you know, and then this guy has to decide. So, but this will be a topic for another story.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on, do we need to take a moment's silence for Valentino?
His year is well and truly over, isn't it? That's 3 DNFs in a row. That's terrible.
Yeah. And this was clearly his fault. You know, he can't come out and saying the tire was cold. The tire was cold for everyone, you know, and the situation of Valentino, obviously he is, I think, anxious. And what is also important is, look, all riders enter in certain phase. You know, he's in a phase where everything gets wrong. And the thing is, you have to go through this phase because one day it stops.
It'll change.
You know, but this is something normal. All go through this, and Valentino has experience about this. But he is clearly doing mistakes. This is no doubt. He crashed in Misano in turn 2, in lap 2. He crashed here in turn 2.
I reckon he's going to retire at the end of this year.
Yes, I said luckily he signed the contract before Le Mans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Because otherwise I'm like, is he trying to go out big? Anyway, all right. Moving on, we have to mention Cow because I thought he was bloody brilliant. I know the whole cold weather, raining, all that, but he was it? Did he qualify 4th?
Yeah, and especially knowing how his forearm still is. His arm is still a disaster, you know.
Well, they're saying it's like his skin's pretty much super glued to his muscle or something.
Yeah. Well, the story is like, terror film, what's happened to his... But he was very brave. And again, we go back to why suddenly the Honda went fast and why suddenly Alex Marquez was fast on the Honda. And we go back to the story of the neutralizing the bikes who have most power in the category are Ducati and Honda.
And we had Tucker in what he finished 7th.
Ah, Tacker
Yeah,
rode a
but,
great race, yeah. We've seen
but
where he's in the
look,
championship, he's 5th.
Yeah, no, this champion and Viñales. After the race of Viñales, he's still there on the fight.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
He's so lucky.
By the way, we could put together all the excuses Viñales has given so far, and then we can do a bestseller at the end of the year. He's
mixtape.
He's fantastic.
What was his excuse this week? I know we read an article just before the race, and Adam, my husband, was reading it to me. He goes, "Oh yeah, he's mentioned it's going to be a tough race," and I went, "Well, that's his race done, isn't it? And they haven't even bloody started."
Yeah, no. But this time I have been here in this world for 25 years. I have never seen an excuse.
I thought you meant you were 25 years old. He's a little bit older than that.
So
Sorry.
I have never heard an excuse like the one he gave after the race. I have to admit that he's great in this, you know. He might not be world champion, but he's great in excuses.
World champion of excuses.
Look, this one was. He said, okay, in Le Mans, I decided to start without electronic helps, you know, just manual.
Mm-hmm.
It's too like in the old days, no electronics.
Yeah.
Now he said, okay, and I practiced during Friday and Saturday, you know, the starts, manual starts, old style. And he said, it worked pretty well, but, and now attention that it comes.
Here it comes.
I didn't realize that Sunday on the grid, with so many bikes around me, I would not hear perfect my engine.
I couldn't hear my engine.
That was, but the funny thing, you know, that he says these things. I didn't
realize it would be so noisy with 22 other bikes around me.
Yes, and nobody from the team or of the team told him or realized that. How can this happen?
You're an idiot.
Maybe they can create an invention where he can have a microphone from his bike to his ear so he can hear it next time.
That probably will happen in the next race. And then there will be interferences and with the mobile phone of somebody.
Yeah.
Wow. So this leads me on to another subject. I think there's a little bit of an element of prima donna coming in with some of the riders here.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Look, after the race in Le Mans, I heard Alex Rins saying, no, we in the safety commission, we have to talk about not returning to Le Mans in October because it's too cold. Mir said the same. Valentino said the same.
Oh, poor darling.
I said, hang on, casual, it's the one that had a bad race, you know, casual. It's just coincidentally.
Of course.
But at the end, look, this makes me think the big difference that exists between the British riders, the English riders, the British riders, and the Latin riders, you know, because I have never heard complaining Carl Crutchlow, Jonathan Ray, Haslam about
Sam Lowe's.
Called
the
Sam
track's too bumpy,
Lowe's.
the track's too smooth.
Look, it was too hot in Jerez. Yeah, too hot in Jerez. It was too cold in Le Mans. It was bumpy, I don't know where. It was
grippy.
Too grippy in Misano. That's incredible. The following weekend, it was no grip.
It was no grip.
Hang on. Do you
Maybe
want to race indoor?
Might have to set up a masseur for them so they can have a little rub down and you know, sparkling water before they go out and do their race.
No, I know that, you know, to criticize this, obviously we will be criticized by saying, you are not the one who is sitting on the bike at 300 k's per hour. Yeah, but
the other guys that are winning and not complaining are.
Exactly.
It's mental, isn't it? It's all mental.
Yeah, it's a matter of attitude. You know, the Brits, they go out and just go out to race and do their job.
And I must say, the Australians are pretty much like that. So can we move on to Jack Miller?
Oh,
Jack.
Oh, shit, eh?
He couldn't
knew this was coming, didn't
he? He knew, but the pity of this is we also, at least myself has also said about Jack that his problem is that he races it all in the first part of the race, and then he has no more fuel to. But this time we couldn't find it out.
Well, what I read about this was that they had his bike set up for the. They had a bike set up that he was. I can't remember. Bike set up and he was riding on it. It had a few issues. They had the other, might have been the wet bike, and then they had another one set up that he was actually gonna ride, but because the weather changed, he had to go back onto the bike that was having some issues, and that's what.
To set it up for the wet
exactly.
race.
Yeah. They had his good bike had an issue, so for the race they had to jump on the second bike, and then they tuned up the other bike for rain in case of any rain. So when he jumped on the bike, he and the team knew that something like this could happen, and it happened. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Say the bike hadn't shit itself. What I was curious about, because I was actually looking at the tyre choices. So I think Danilo and Dobby and Jack had the same tyre choices.
No. Look, the Ducatis, the only one who had different tyre choice was Dovizioso, who chose a soft front tyre. That was his big mistake, because if not, probably he would have won that race. But he chose a different one. He gambled and lost. Because
I was curious if Jack's bike hadn't died. I'm really curious what would have happened, because I thought it was going to be a race for him. But I was like, were his tyres going to last? Because I know he pushes it a bit harder and all that. But I guess we can't predict that, can we?
He would have been up
there. No, Jack is again in one of these phases, because what his admission sucked in Misano, and this year, it's a shame.
Doesn't seem fair, does it?
All right, let's talk about the podium.
Oh, wait, can I say one more person, though?
Oh, go on then, yep.
Alex Rins.
Oh, Rins and repeat. Come on. Yeah, that was a shame.
There's so many heartbreaking moments.
I know. This is 2020. That's what it does. And we did say it's going to be a wet race. This is what's going to happen.
Did you remember what happened in Austria with Rins when he overtook Dovizioso?
Oh, what happened there?
He crashed.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Exactly the same. Turn 7, and I think he was second or first. Second when he overtook Dovizioso. Rins, in his career, has a very remarkable.
But he did some amazing overtaking and stuff that was like, holy crap! Like, he just committed and did it. It was executed perfectly. And
no, but look, this is a characteristic of Rins. Rins is a very good rider, but every time he gets to the point when it's okay, now we have to decide, he fails. This happened in 125. Look, you were not in this world probably, and.
No, I'm just an embryo in this world.
No, but Alex Rins and Maverick Viñales raced for the 125cc World Championship. I think it was in 2013 or something like this. Mm-hmm. And they went to the last race in Valencia fighting for the championship. They arrived at the last corner like this, the last corner. Alex Rins overtook him and went long, and Maverick last turn from last lap. And Rins lost the championship in that last turn. Nice. It's always him.
Okay.
It's always him.
He's got
last year, do you remember that Rins had very good races in Le Mans? He was leading and crashed. The race before, he was leading and crashed. So the problem of Alex, he's fast, but when it comes down to
the pressure,
that's why he doesn't have any world championship. Yeah. Maverick has a world championship. Alex Marquez has 2 world championships.
Do you think that Alex Rins will mature? Do you think that he'll get there, or?
No, I think it's his way of racing.
Okay.
Joan Mir has a world championship.
Yeah. Do you think maybe Alex
Espargaro has a world championship?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Do you think maybe Alex can't lead? Maybe that's his issue? Because there's a different mentality when you're leading a race to when you're fighting and challenging with other riders in a race.
Yeah, no, Alex, look, obviously it won't happen on every race, but normally the tendency is that when he's in a position, he fails.
Right. Okay.
So this is a bit off track, but it's leading into the next rider we were going to talk about tomorrow is Anoni's hearing.
Yes.
So I'm very curious what you think the outcome will be. If he doesn't come back to racing, that's another seat open, and I'm wondering if that's an opportunity for Dovey.
For Dovey or for Cow?
Or for Cow.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I think, look, the problem is that, you know what the WADA is? The WADA is the American
Anti-doping agency.
Yes, the WADA. This is...
Bunch of party poopers.
Yeah.
And they entered to accuse directly Iannone,
Mm-hmm.
And the WADA, they are merciless, absolutely merciless. Remember, I don't know if you follow cycling, they just dynamited.
That guy with one ball.
Yes, Lance Armstrong.
I wish I could ride a bike. I wish I could ride a bike that well when I'm on drugs.
Yeah, I've tried. I always fall off.
No, but I think the WADA is so hard on this because
they want to do it for 4 years, don't they?
Yeah, but if they let him go, because then
they'll make an example of him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I get it though, but yeah,
the issue is they could set a precedent, and so if they do let him off, then all these other people are going to come along, and they're going to go, you let him off, you got to let me off as well because I had a stake that had something on it.
And we are talking we are talking about athletics. We are talking about any other sport, So,
is it a shame, Manuel? Because I obviously haven't seen him race in my 2020 career of MotoGP. Is he good? Is he a killer? Is he like going to be a big loss?
He has the most natural talent of all Italian riders that exist. Actually, he has the talent. Could compare this talent a step behind Marc Marquez. But
wow,
big call.
But
is that because of the drugs?
It's because of the drugs, exactly. There you go.
No, but the problem is that he entered in this nightlife. He started to go out with famous...
All about the ladies, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Vinales' gypsy girlfriend and all her family. All that sort of stuff. So, yeah. I mean, I personally don't agree. I've never rated Iannone. I always thought he was overly aggressive when he never had to be. I don't have an opinion on whether
Lou, I have to say
that
when Ducati had to fire one of the two Andreas, remember?
Yeah,
because Lorenzo was arriving in Ducati, and
they kept panicking and fucking hitting each other. I mean, flipping hitting each other.
Golly gosh!
Dang it!
So I get to say that word next week.
Yeah.
So, Edra.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were still... I didn't want to be rude and butted. Let's move on to Dovey. I'm doing well, aren't I, with this driving thing? Bloody women drivers. They're the same everywhere in the world. Dovey. I was not. After our discussions, I thought his season was done. And now, because we can't predict it like that, it's completely switched again.
It's ridiculous. He's still third.
And look at who is fourth.
Yeah, exactly. Vinales. What's going on? And look who's fifth. Takanakagami.
And he hasn't has he been on the podium?
But look, the first four, they are very tight. So after, where was the previous race? After Barcelona, we said the championship is a matter of two.
Yep.
Mir
and Fabio.
Or Quartararo.
Yep.
Now it's again a matter of four.
Yeah.
And Vinales, who we have been blaming the whole championship, is still a contender.
Somehow.
So crazy.
Bloody hell. Yeah.
Anyway,
so we'll see. So
for me, that was another Dovey race. It was he didn't really do anything. He just rode his own race. People were faster than him. He went, yeah, fine, off you go, whatever.
But when you
just let them go and crash.
And I just want him to do well. Like you just want him, and everyone seems to have that opinion of him.
Yeah. And now I think it's the best opportunity to switch to what can happen this weekend in Aragon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because my absolute favorite if this has any value in the championship for Aragon is Dobby.
You might as well ask me, Manuel, what's going to happen.
Yeah, but with that, like I said, with that long straight and with his history, for sure.
Yeah, because he made second in 18 and 19, and the one who finished in front of him was Marc Marquez. So
he's not back this weekend like he originally said he was going to be, right?
No, I heard some very worrying information about Mark.
Oh,
I don't know.
Can you share it?
Yeah, no, I don't know if we are going to see him this year.
Really?
I saw some pictures of him working out with his big scar, and he looks buff as shit. Like
Seems that his plate is moving. He has a lot of pain because the photos we see on Instagram and so on with weightlifting, we just see one photo.
Yeah.
Okay. They can perfectly put in his hand, but it seems that he has a lot of pain that shouldn't be there.
Wow.
And I don't know.
He looked like a plastic bag full of walnuts to me, so I figured he was doing all right.
Indeed. But yeah, Aragon, Dobby.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Dobby, and good news for Aussie folks. Jack finished there third last year.
Yeah.
And Jack is much stronger this year than last year.
Are we allowed to talk? Do we need to quickly talk about the last couple of 3 riders before because I've got lots of questions about Aragon.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the podium from last week before we.
I'm just because I've got questions and I'm going to send us on a thing.
Questions.
Do we have to talk about pole or can we skip pole?
Paul, I would say, like we spoke before starting to record, I think that was a bitter podium for Paul, very bitter, because the one who finished in front of him, Mr. Nobody, Alex Marquez, the rider that has been sacked because of Paul Espargaro. So, to finish in front of him was like, hey,
beautiful.
Why did you suck me? Look is here, who is here down here. So, and on the other hand, the guy who won the race, who is Petrucci, will riding Paul Espargaro's KTM next year. So it's a complete,
brilliant.
This podium, like the championship, was a complete mess,
Yeah. You can't write that. So Alex Marquez, oh my God. Like, I think he got the fastest lap. He
did so well,
That's the rider of the weekend for me.
Absolutely, yeah, he was. I did feel like a proud mum. My mum, my ovaries did funny things.
And I think, apart from Mama Andra, Stu,
not in a Valentino Rossi way. This was in a Mama way.
So, Stu, I think that when you saw him coming, it was like, okay, how long will it take for him to crash?
Yes, exactly.
But he was so mature and he was so serene, because imagine him seeing the others closer, and there the most easiest thing is to get to want to do this all in one lap.
Yeah.
But he was so steady, there I go, and this is again, this is a champion. He is twice a world champion.
Yeah. And
in this situation, you see the difference between a champion and not champion. Alex Rins is not a champion, and he crashed. You understand? When he was there in the fight for a good result, but he was not serene enough, But Alex came and it was 1/10, 5/10, 6/10, 4/10. Great.
I feel like since Mark's not been there, he's just owning it a bit more because he's there. He's not in the shadow. He's not being
he's learning. And like he said, it was very interesting. He said, I am a diesel. Diesel?
Yeah.
Yep.
He said, for me, it takes time to get there, but it's like pop, 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 pop. But at the end, I get the speed. It's not like a gasoline engine,
Yep.
And he's showing this.
The little engine that could.
Yep. Oh, I can't wait to see what he does. So Danilo, everyone was so happy about that.
Yeah, Danilo is fantastic because it's one of these super rare moments where everyone is happy to see him winning, you know,
Yeah.
even his rivals, you know, because he's like a big kid and he deserves more than nobody because he has been mistreated, you know, he has been like ignored. And this victory was a big victory. And if you compare this victory with the one of Mugello last year, this time he didn't apologize for winning.
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant.
So that was a real victory. You know, he didn't finish the race and said sorry for winning, sorry for winning.
When did he do that?
Italy.
Really?
Last year,
Yeah. Have a look at Mugello last, because he beat Andrea Dovizioso. That was his teammate.
I wouldn't imagine that any of them would say apologise for winning. What a lovely bloke.
Oh, he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So quickly, I am cognizant that we're going massively over time this week. So let's have a quick chat about Aragon before we do wrap up.
I want to hear about the track and who it's good, which bikes it's good for, because I had a look on the MotoGP game, so I see the big straight, I see the big hill. I'm curious how Yamaha is going to handle this track with their dodgy motors, because there's that big hill.
The thing is, if the Yamaha start in front, they have a chance. If they don't start in front, every time they get into the straight, all the work they have done in the twisty part, they will lose. And we saw this in the past. In 2015, we don't have much time. But we saw that.
Stuart.
Me. I just want to say, I want to put it on the record. I predict at least one Yamaha engine failure during the race.
Interesting.
At least one.
Very good.
At least one.
Ooh, and Ducati, because I noticed the first corner's quite close again, so I guess it'll be like Le Mans where they won't use the whole shot because they've.
Yeah. But look, the story is Ducati. If they arrive at the first time on the long straight, all together, you know, they just have to open the gas. They go.
I imagine there's going to be a big separation in that. Yeah. So Manuel, who do you predict for this weekend? Are you going this weekend? That's the question.
Ooh,
I don't know. I don't know still. I have to decide whether to go. I did my PCR this morning, but I will decide tomorrow.
Can you go for us? We're stuck here down the arse end of the earth in Australia.
Okay. Favorite for Dobby or Dobby?
Dobby or Dobby? Dobby.
Yes.
So first Dobby, second Dobby, third Dobby.
Yes, there will be the real Dobby up there, then two holograms on each.
Two little fake Dobbies.
Oh, I'm hoping for Jack.
Yeah, one's Jack and one.
I'm going for Jack.
Petrux.
Jack. Look, and we
Frankie.
have our heart. We have our heart, and we would like to see Jack up there.
Yeah.
You mentioned Frankie. Frankie.
Yep.
Okay, we close this record with something funny with Frankie. I did an extraordinary interview with Frankie that I will upload in my pecinogp, and one of the questions was, dos puntos, pum pum. Frankie, you have two flags on your helmet. One is the Italian flag, and the other one is the Brazilian flag.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much of Italian or Brazilian are you when you ride the bike and when you are off the bike?
Awesome question.
And he said to me, look, the post answer were incredibly funny. I laughed a lot. He said to me, okay, when I am riding, I am 100% Italian, concentrated and very focused until 3 laps to the end. Then I turn Brazilian. I say, what do you mean? Yes, three laps to the end. It's like, okay, now we are going to have fun.
Yep. Here we go.
Love Frankie. All right, I'm going to be Jack, Frankie.
Okay, and then how much are you Italian and Brazilian off the bike when you are not racing?
Other way around.
And he was thinking and smiling for a while, and then he said to me, he looked at me here in the Zoom and said, after midnight, I am only Brazilian.
He's a bloody legend. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure again. I cannot wait to see what Aragon's going to bring. We'll catch you on the flip side. Come and visit us on all the socials. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You got pecinogp for the serious side of this. Stu, Manuel, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week.
We will indeed. Thank you very much, everybody.
Ciao, ciao, adios, adios.
Notifications. Thank you. Bye.